picnic in front of a church in northern Thailand. The atmosphere is exuberant. The boys and girls are having fun. What connects them all is the virus they carry. They are all HIV positive. Most of the parents have died of AIDS. Others have been rejected by their families. It was the same with Bia when he was diagnosed with AIDS. His grandparents tried to drown him in the bathtub. Since didn't have the heart at the last moment, Bia is handicapped. Brother Bernd knows all these stories. The German religious runs a house for girls and boys who have been excluded by others because they are infected.
Ja, da wird die Würde des Menschen so verletzt.
It's a violation of human dignity. Just because they are HIV positive, taking this chance to have a place at home for them.
Für sie zu Hause ist.
Thailand. The kingdom with its fascinating Buddhist heritage, a popular destination for tourists. It is not only the cultural treasures and exotic landscapes that attract them. Thailand is also a magnet for sex tourists. AIDS has spread rapidly since the 1980s. Initiatives such as Brother Bernd's helped to stem the spread of AIDS.
Kommt durchaus vor, dass Jugendliche kommen, die sich im Jugendalter einfach schon infiziert haben.
It is quite possible that young people who have already become infected in adolescence, some through sexual intercourse. And we also had young people who were sexually abused as children, and we had a young person who was repeatedly sexually abused by his father and thus became infected.
Der von seinem Vater immer wieder sexuell missbraucht wurde und so infiziert wurde.
3 girls and 6 boys live here now. The facility is not a public utility. Everyone must contribute to ensuring that living together works. Today is Tum's laundry day. Since her parents' death, she's been left with only one grandmother, but she always hangs up the phone when Dum calls her. Dum, Bean and Ma have their homework to do. Brother Bernd or one of his 2 colleagues where necessary.
Einfach Bildung ist so der Start ins Leben. Und deshalb
Education is the start of life. So we did everything we could to get them out of here, at least with a certificate in hand. The kids feel at home here. When Divine Word missionaries came to Thailand in 1999, they realized that AIDS not only brings death, but also makes children and young people orphans. With donations, they were able to open this housing project in 2009. Brother Bernd has been responsible for this for 2 years. Mobility is an important topic for Brother Bernd, but he is not here to buy a motorcycle. The attractive young woman who shows him the latest models is actually a man, a so-called ladyboy. In Thailand, ladyboys are a kind of third gender. No matter where you go, you meet ladyboys. Ladyboys are good salesmen, they are good entertainers. There is no area where there are no ladyboys. They are simply part of it, and they are also well recognized socially. Gao, as the 27-year-old is called, was born as a normal boy. On her mobile phone, she shows Bernard and his colleague pictures of her past. Even if a sex change was once an issue, in the meantime she has come to terms with the fact that she lives in the body of a man, but has the consciousness of a woman. Bernard and Gao have known each other for some time. After having to accompany many ladyboys to their deaths in the hospice, he wants to win Gao for a prevention program. Although the number of new HIV infections in Thailand is stagnating, it continues to rise among ladyboys. They want to do something about that. Even if these students are quite cheerful at first, the topic of the two-day school event is serious. It's about sexuality and the danger of getting infected. Preparing for an experiment. The fluid in the small glasses stands for the body fluid through which the deadly virus spreads. Like during sexual intercourse, the young people exchange their fluids. Brother Bernd puts an invisible substrate into a glass, which stands for the HIV virus. No one knows in which glass it is preserved. 5 times the students have to mix their liquids. Through these changing contacts, the substrate, which will show how the AIDS virus spreads, also spreads. By adding an agent, you can see how the substance, which was initially only in a glass, has spread. Excitement among the students. Would they also have caught the deadly virus? The result is precisely documented. In the end, 29 out of 70 students were infected by swapping fluids 5 times. If it hadn't been a game, 1 in 3 would have caught the deadly virus this way. Back to the young people's housing project. It's early in the morning. May, Tum, Bean and friends got up early. Soon they will be on stage. Today the parish celebrates its parish festival, to which the bishop will also come. Supported by 2 ladyboys, the young people want to entertain the guests with traditional Thai dances. It is also perfectly normal for the bishop that ladyboys are among the dancers. The church, built next to the hospice, is today filled to the last place. Some of the priests, some of whom came from far away, belong like Bernd to the Divine Word missionaries. Bernd deliberately refrained from studying theology and priestly ordination in order to work as a layman and brother of the order. Even if most of his young people or the inhabitants of the rehabilitation center are not Christians, they still come to the Sunday service. This has already led to heated discussions in the community.
Ja, und dann einfach so, dass unsere Kirche, ich würde mal sagen, zu 50% sonntags besetzt ist von Menschen, die HIV-positiv leben.
You see, on Sundays our church is occupied by 50% of people who live HIV positively. And in the past there was consideration whether we should separate the people, e.g. the HIV positive on the left side and others on the right side. It is unthinkable for us Christians to separate people into 2 classes. HIV positive and HIV negative. We can't. We can't separate rich and poor. We can't separate black and white. As Christians, we are called to be one and to live unity.
Als Christen sind wir einfach berufen, eins zu sein und die Einheit zu leben.
And of course, this also belongs to a parish festival, a football tournament. Beside a team in which also the young people of Bernd play, also teams from the neighborhood came. Bernd shares the excitement with his boys. He knows how important positive experiences are for them, and so he keeps his fingers crossed for them.
Also das drückt sich für mich so durch dieses Brudersein aus.
That's what being a brother means to me. Right here, the people who are outcasts of their families, or who have no parents or siblings, who suffer from being a brother. That is such an ideal that I bring along in my mission idea, that it is about building relationships with people, honest relationships.
Ein Bruder zu sein. Und ich glaube so, das ist auch so ein Ideal, das ich so mitbringe in meine Missionsidee, dass es darum geht, Beziehungen zu knüpfen zu den Menschen, ehrliche Beziehungen.
Unfortunately, the trophy goes to the guests. Bernd's boys couldn't help the team to win either. They have learned that small setbacks are no reason to give up. At least Brother Bernd hopes so.
Und wenn wir das schaffen würden, dass wir sie, dass unser Haus,
If we could make our house a place for them they call a home, or a place they can return to when things are difficult, then we have already achieved a lot.
Dann, ja, ich glaube, dann haben wir schon viel erreicht.